my name is Melika Miller, and welcome to my new series called Unshakeable Journey. I am so excited, you guys, to begin this series with one of my favorite people in the world. So with this series, you guys, we will be interviewing people from different walks of life and trying to find out more about what motivates them on their journey. What obstacles have they gone through, and what lessons can they teach us about their lives? And so today's show, you guys, is I am able to meet with Miss Johnnie Walker. And Miss Johnnie Walker, she is a former executive of Def Jam Records. She's originally from Mississippi, a Southern girl just like myself. So I had to throw that in there for you guys to understand our roots. And she is an amazing woman. She is a grandmother, a mother, a mentor, a friend, a businesswoman, a motivator, someone who wants to inspire all of us to do great things with our lives. So I'm so grateful to have this chance to interview her. So welcome, Miss Johnnie Walker.
Oh, welcome to you. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's an honor. It's always an honor to just chat, share information, go down memory lane. Hey, I'm always excited. So thank you for inviting me.
I appreciate you wanting to have this time with me and just allow me to have this time to interview you. And so I was thinking about what questions I want to ask you, Ms. Johnnie.
The questions. The questions.
and I hope when people watch this that the questions I'm asking you will be answers for them. Because a lot of people, it could be. Because you're a woman who has lived this life to the fullest. You've done things that, I don't want to share your story because you and I have talked. Okay. So I want you to share your own story. But the first question, because like I shared earlier, you used to be executive with Def Jam.
Right.
And a backstory, y'all, let me tell y'all this backstory really quickly. About how many years ago was it? Probably like 15 years ago, I met Miss Johnnie in New York. Yeah. And Grammy, it was a Recording Academy meeting. She doesn't remember meeting me there, but I remember her. And I remember her being on this panel, and she shared that she was from Mississippi. And I'm sitting in the audience like, I gotta meet this woman. And fast forward, y'all, God allowed it to happen. So I am just so grateful to have you in my life. So the first question, Miss Johnnie.
The questions. Here comes the questions.
What inspired you to be in the music industry? What inspired you to go there?
I don't know how much of an inspiration it was. I think it was more of a dream. Oh. I think it was that's something that I wanted to do, but I mean, come on, man! I'm in Grenada, Mississippi. There were no examples. I'll say it like that. There were no examples for me to follow, or no examples for me to marry myself to in order to do what I wanted to do. So I love music. I love listening to music. I would listen to the radio and I would pretend that this is what I would have said, or this is what I would have done, that kind of thing. And, just like you just said a moment ago, sometimes God has a path for us. We don't see it at the time, but, it just happened. I used to listen to the radio every night when I would get off of work, and there was this a lady on. Her name was Yvonne Daniels. And I would listen to her and I would just always say, oh, wow, she is just all of that. And here's the thing. She was on WLS in Chicago. And I just knew there's nothing that said she was Black. Wow. I just did not think she was Black. I was at a record store one day buying some records. And back in the day, they didn't have Facebook. Back in the day, they used to put the Billboard charts on the countertop. So you could see the charts and see your favorite songs. So you look on the chart, see your favorite songs. Obviously, that's what you're going to buy. Right. So I'm looking at the chart and I see this lady signing, Isaac Hayes was signing autographs, but this lady was standing next to him. Wow. And the caption that read under it said, WLS air personality, Yvonne Daniels and Isaac Hayes. I almost fainted. I had no idea she was Black. Wow. And it's like looking at that picture. I kept looking at that picture. And the guy behind the counter, he was like, okay, are you gonna pay me?
Right.
I kept staring at that picture, and I'm looking at the picture. He's like, is there something else on the chart that you want? I wanted to say to him so bad, yeah, I want her.
Yeah.
But it was just like from that, seeing her standing next to Isaac Hayes in that store, there is nothing that would have stopped me. It would have to have been a train, had to have been a train, and I had to be chained to something in front of the train that would have stopped me from believing that I could not get into the music business, that I could not be a radio announcer, that it just seeing that picture changed my life.
Yes, ma'am.
So it was like dream come true. That's why I said I think it's more like a dream, because seeing that picture manifested the dream. Yeah. And it's just nothing could stop me. Everybody told me, oh my God, you're in Mississippi. They're not hiring Blacks. They're really not hiring Black females. Come on now.
Right.
So all the negatives were there. Right. I just had to mine my own positives. It's like, like they said, mining gold. I had to mine my own positives, because it just was unbelievable. Nobody would believe that it was going to happen. So
right. So Miss Johnnie, despite all those obstacles, right? Because you mentioned growing up in Mississippi, being a woman, having this dream of wanting to be on the radio, and seeing this woman who was doing it and stuff like that, and hearing all the naysayers telling you in Mississippi, you're a country girl. Like, I'm from Poplar Grove, Arkansas, small rural town.
You already know what country is, right?
Right. And so you grew up in these areas, you have these people telling you these things. What helped you to push those things aside and remain focused on that dream?
I'm telling you, that picture was ingrained in my brain. Like I can't even imagine. Just like, when your birthday, your birthday is on October 12th, whatever day your birthday is, it's in your head. You know your birthday is coming up. Right. That picture was in my head, and I just over and over. And then I had my father, father who would always tell me a lot of times when I would go to the radio station with my tape, and my dad would say, well, they told you no. Well, you just didn't give them enough information for yes. I'm like, Dad, I did everything. That they say. He said, well, you just got to go back. So he was kind of like that driving force that would always tell me, got to go back. Got to go back. Right. So I kept going back. Right. They eventually hired me. Right. But, I never forgot that picture. I never forgot that picture.
Right. And so did that picture help you to hold on when you ever had times of discouragement? Or did your father's words?
No, it was my father. Now the picture was the I can moment. The picture said, oh yes, you can. Right. You just got to apply yourself. You have to do the necessary things, but you can. And then having my dad there that just was always encouraging me and always telling me, I laugh every time I think about him when I would play those tapes for him. And he would say, oh, baby, that sounds good. I'm sure it didn't. But he would always say, oh, that sounds good. Yes. Oh, you should be on TV. He would say all stuff like that. Yeah. Radio, TV, wherever. It sounds great. Yeah. That's my dad, okay?
Right. Well, he was speaking those words into you.
Speaking that
life into you. Speaking it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, and I know that over the years you've gone through some things, and that's why, you are an example of a woman who has an unshakable journey. And I'm so grateful that honestly God put you in my life to talk to you, because as my mentor, you have shown me what it looks like to be unshakable. Oh, right. Yeah. And so I wonder, can you share with me a lesson or whatever lesson you want to share that you've learned over the years that can help someone else as they're looking at?
Okay, I'm going back to my father because again, it was so many things that he shared with me, and as I was younger, that I actually apply today. Yes, and one of the things that I continue to apply now, and I say this often, the way that a package is presented determines how the package is accepted. He would always say, when you go in there, it's going to determine how you're going to come out. That was his way of saying it. But the bottom line was, the way the package is presented, it determines how the package is going to be accepted.
There we go.
And he would always say, if you're in the room with all men and if they call you baby, they call you darling, they call you honey, they call you sweetie, if you respond, that's your name. He would say, if you go in, and you just got to think now, we're talking 70s now, okay? And like, if I would put something on, and if I thought it would look really good, and my dad would think like, no, button your blouse. He would say, and he would throw that little thing on there. The way the package is presented determines how the package is accepted.
Right. Wow.
And you know, that applies today. You know, if you go in and you present yourself in a certain manner, then people on the other side, this is what they believe. They made up their own definition of who you are and what you are and what you bring to the table, just based on the way you presented yourself. Right. So that has stayed with me all these years. Right. I always remember him saying, button your blouse.
Right.
Okay, the way you go in is the way you're gonna come out.
Right. Right. I'm sorry, my phone just rang, interrupting this time. That was perfect.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
That was but my dad was before his time. I always say it. He was before his time. Because a lot of the little things that he used to always say to me, I remember them. They're ingrained in my soul, and I just apply them. You know, I didn't allow anyone to call me Johnnie when I went to Def Jam. I mean, you know, you get in a company, you're there, the people are going to call you, they're going to call you. But I go back to what my dad said. It's what you respond to. And I would tell people, you don't know me like that. You can't call, my name is Miss Walker. And everybody would look at me like, my name is Miss Walker. I'm a vice president. Why would you call me by my first name? You don't know me like that. Right. And it just, over the years, I would say that it just stuck. People just always refer to me as Miss Walker, and it worked. And I would look back at my dad and think about my dad. Yes, my dad said, the way you present it is the way that it's accepted. So it's like when people always, how did you get all the men to call you Miss Walker? I never answered. If they said honey, I'm like, well, clearly you're not talking to me. So right. Little stuff like that, you know. Like I said, I think my dad really was a huge inspiration on my demeanor. He was a huge inspiration on, like you said, those really tough times. He just always had little ways of working myself out of those things. I mean, I was in high school with a checking account. Everybody was like, what in the world? Wow. He taught me how to manage things. And my mom died when I was 12. So I didn't have all the girly stuff. Had all of his stuff. So, you know, it was good for me. It was good, especially going into a very male-dominated industry, a very male-dominated company, a very male-dominated art form. Everything was all men, all men. I love men, but my daddy taught me how to handle you.
Right. Wow. So it sounds like having your dad in your corner and remember the lessons that he shared with you helped you to overcome so many things that people were trying to kind of like push on you. Like, you know how sometimes it's when we can struggle with our security or being insecure and low esteem and low self-confidence and all those different things. But it sounds like for you, your dad instilled those things, instilled confidence, instilled you can do whatever you put in your mind to do.
He was just like that. You know, he used to always tell me, sweetheart, don't step on a nickel trying to get a dime. Heck, what does that mean? What are you talking about? He was saying, if you got 2 nickels, you got a dime. So you're going to step on a nickel in search of a dime and may not get the dime. So he would always say, never step on a nickel trying to get a dime. So as I got older and I'm, say, at a company like Def Jam, you know, it's never step on the lesser artist to get to the bigger artist, because the lesser artist has that opportunity to become the bigger artist. And when that artist becomes the bigger artist, that's your friend. Well, if you had disrespected the little artist because you was trying to get over there to the big artist, you know, that guy blows up. He like, I'm not checking for her. She can give me time of day. Right. So it's kind of like those little isms that he would always impart upon me. I applied them to my career. And like I said, never step on a nickel trying to get a dime. Like, don't step on the little guy trying to get to the big guy.
Right, right. So I love that's some great advice, because I think that we need to hear that, Miss Johnnie. But I'm wondering, like, what other advice would you give someone who aspires to be like you, who wants to go into the industry as an executive or wants to be in this industry in some form or fashion? What advice would you give to them?
I would say nobody owes you anything. So don't walk in there thinking you're going to get something that you're not entitled to. You got to have patience. You got to tough skin. It's just necessary. I didn't say it was fair. I didn't say it was right. I said it was necessary. People are going to tell you no. People are going to close the door in your face. People are going to say, oh, we don't do it like that. Oh, that won't work. You got to have the patience, the discipline, the persistence, the determination to follow whatever your vision is, to stay in there, because people can easily manipulate you. Oh, please, that won't work. So if you believe that, that won't work.
Right.
Oh, we don't do it like that. Well, you don't do it like, listen, when I went to Def Jam, they were all about their artists getting their records played. That's the whole mantra of the company. They didn't know anything about radio. Radio, the only thing that they really, in our meetings, when it came to radio, it was get the song on, get the song played. So how I was able to change that dynamic, I came from radio.
Right.
I knew how programmers scheduled music, when they scheduled it, how they scheduled it, what they looked at when they were scheduling it. Little old idiosyncrasies like this song doesn't have an intro on it, or this song, all that little stuff. I said, wait a minute, you guys doing it all wrong. It's not about us. It's about the radio station. We got to show the radio station how they can use our music and win. They become winners because of us. And when we show them how to win with our music, we become the winners.
Right.
So there, Russell's like, wait a minute, she might have something there. So I was able to apply what I knew, what they didn't know, apply it to the mantra of the company, and just a lot of things changed. And we started doing things decidedly different.
Right.
And, that was, kind of like how I was able to put my fingerprint on the Def Jam brand.
Right. And you're an amazing woman, Ms. Johnnie. Like, you are someone who is, like, you have the vision, you have that bullseye, the aim, and you have the drive to continue to stay focused on it. So no matter what tries to come in and try to bump you to the side, push you out the way or whatever, you're like, no, this is where I'm going. I love the determination, that you display and that you try to show other women how to have. And I want you to tell us a little bit more about nap theme. What does that mean? Because I know that's something you're passionate about, especially helping other women and other people.
I want to share real quickly what you just said a moment ago. Really is kind of like the roadmap to my career, because when I met Russell Simmons, I was the program director of a radio station, but I was not playing rap music. I had decided that rap music was not going to be the art form for us to carve out our niche in the marketplace. So he and his people we were at a music conference, and they were talking to me about an LL Cool J record, and I wasn't playing that record. And they were going, oh man, they threw everything at me but the kitchen sink to play that record. And I never changed. Yeah. So that following Monday is when he called me and offered me a job.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, well, doing what?
Right.
And basically it was, I want you to stand up for my company, my artist, my brand, the same way you did for that station. He said, because everything I said, he was like, oh, this is what we're doing. This is the way it is. Sorry, can't play your record. And he liked that. He actually liked that. So that's actually how I got to Def Jam.
That's awesome.
By telling him no.
Holding your ground.
That's right. I was holding it, baby.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, but those are things, again, that my dad taught me, and it just worked. It just worked. I think nobody probably has ever really told him no. They probably said yes. They knew they weren't gonna play the record, but they just said yes, so he would move on. Right. And I never said yes. I never. And well, you can't do this. Yes, I can. It won't work this way. Yes, it will.
Right.
You don't know it'll work until you try, but that's what worked for me.
Right. But that's something that we can all learn from, Ms. Johnnie. I know I'm learning from you. That's why I'm like, Lord, thank you for allowing her to be in my life. I appreciate it. Because it's like you are someone who just displays what it means to be steadfast, what it means to have, like, I know scripturally it tells about having a stern mind. This is what I'm focused on, and this is how I have the vision of it, and this is where we're going to go. And you're a woman of faith too, and so it's like as you walk into this direction, you're like, what am I afraid of? and that's something like I love that about you, you know. And so I want to ask this question again about your organization, right?
Okay.
Because I know this is something that you're passionate about.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me a little bit about NAPFEM, what that means.
NAPFEM, that acronym you see there in the background, it stands for the National Association of Black Female Executives in Music and Entertainment. It's a nonprofit networking empowerment resource base for women that are in the business of music and entertainment. Most of us can't sing, we can't dance, but we are a lot of the guiding forces behind a lot of music. So we're that behind the scenes person. We're doing the marketing, we're doing the promotion, we're dealing with the designers, we're dealing with the wardrobe people, we're dealing with the stylists, we're dealing with the video people, we're dealing with the publicists before you go on the air, before you go to the TV station. We're dealing with when you step out into the public. A lot of that's not happening now, it should be happening. But we are the ones that, you know, are dealing with a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that you never see. But we created the organization because a lot of times I would go to the music conferences, just like the one, like I told you, where I met Russell, where every time, each seminar, every situation, it was always 5 or 6 guys. A lot of times it was the same 5 or 6 guys, but it was always these guys. And it was never anything that they said. I mean, we learned from them. Obviously, we learned a lot from them, but we needed a female perspective. We needed to hear from a woman. We needed to hear, well, what is it like for a woman out on a 3-month tour? Okay, and you got a family back at home. It's just little things that were different for us as women coming up in this business. And so I felt that we needed a voice. I felt we needed to hear from our perspective. If it wasn't but 5 of us, then let's 5 of us come together to talk about what our issues are, because our issues aren't our male counterparts' issues. Right. So we started the organization. It was 6 of us. We started the organization, and we just quickly found out that we weren't the only ones that had these issues. We weren't the only ones that didn't have mentors. We weren't the only ones that so much was going on in the industry that we didn't understand, that we're over here doing all the work, but getting none of the accolades. We're over here, we control a lot, but our control was played down. You just glad you got a job. Right. Just don't pursue that. Why are you pursuing? There are no female vice presidents at record labels. Why are you pursuing that? It's never going to happen. You're wasting your time. So it's real easy when someone is telling you that's not going to happen, and you feel like, oh, I guess I'm just going to be a secretary, or I'm going to answer the phone for the rest of my career. I can say I'm in the music business. I answer the phone at whatever this label is. Girlfriend, please. No. Right. You are powerful. You are intelligent. You bring a lot of worth and value to the table. That guy probably does not know when and where his next meeting is unless you tell him. So we went into this whole thing of empowerment to show women the value that they brought to the table, or that they bring to the table, and why they were important, and why they were valuable, and why they should pursue these jobs. Yes, go for it. This is something my dad used to always say. He said, sweetheart, they can't tell you but 2 things. And I said, what is that, Dad? Yes or no. That's all they can tell you. Anything else does not matter. Yes or no. And if you get no, my dad would say, go back, because you did not give enough information to get the yes. You got to get the yes. He would say that all the time. And so I turned that around in NAPFEM, and I would tell this, we'd be in these meetings, and I would say, you got to go for the yes. You have to believe that you can. If they tell you no, you got to go back and see what you did wrong. What you didn't say, how did you present yourself? We used to do mock interviews. We used to do them all the time. We would be sitting there, so the person come in for the interview, and we try to just really chop it up and like really be real hard, because we're like, that's how they're going to be. So it was a passion of wanting to provide a voice for women. It was a passion to impart information, a passion to share knowledge. And it's real, I want to share this with you. This was just something that was always on me. I was in a hotel in Reno, Nevada, had been to like quite a few seminars and what have you. I didn't feel like I got anything out of it. I was in my hotel room and I just kept saying, what is it, God? What is it? Right. I don't know. It's something. I couldn't sleep. I'm just in the hotel room. My girlfriends are calling me, hey, everybody's meeting that. I said, I can't come. I don't know what it is, but I know you guys go ahead and have a good time. I stayed up all night. And one of my girlfriends will tell you, 6 o'clock in the morning. 6 o'clock in the morning, I was like, oh, I know what it is. I know. I know what it is. I went to her room. I'm knocking on her door. She's like, what? What is it? You know what time it is? Yeah, 6 o'clock in the morning. Come on, go make some coffee. I got it. She says, you got what?
Right.
We're going to start an organization. It's going to be focused on Black women. We're not discriminating against anybody, but we got to start somewhere. We got to have a foundation. So the foundation is going to be Black women in music and entertainment. And what we're going to do, all the information that we have, we're going to share it with them. Everything that we know, we're going to share it with them. We're going to take what we know and help others grow. And that's how we're going to amass the organization. I'll tell you what she said. She said, you've been watching the Blues Brothers. The man. She laughed at me. She was like, the band. She got the band. And I'm like, girl, please. But that is what really happened. I mean, it was like, we drank coffee that morning and we got on the phone and called some of the other sisters. And this is what we're going to do. This is what we're doing.
Right.
And it happened. That's, but it's so funny.
That's it really was. But that was inspired by God, Miss Johnnie. And inspired.
He wouldn't let me rest. He wouldn't let me rest. You know, I talk to him sometimes and I'll be like, God, okay, now. Yeah. It's been a long time. Yeah. Can I take a break now? Can I rest now? It's like, but you know, it's just, you always feel like there's still more work to do.
Yes, ma'am.
And there's still something else to do. And you haven't done everything that you were called to do. And there's still, because, you know, it's just like, I would say about 2 weeks ago, I'm reading where Her is trying to get out of her contract. Right. And so it just reading that made me change our whole vision for women who jam. We changed the vision because before it was like we wanted to be a platform for the invisible star. And we called them invisible stars because we were saying these women are the total package. They got it. They sing, they write, they do everything that any average record company needs, but they're hidden over here. You don't see them. They're like the hidden figures. And so we were trying to say that we unveil the invisible star. And I like that. But reading Her, what was going on with Her, this young lady is everywhere. She's on all of the award shows and she's in commercials. She's successful, right?
I won an Oscar.
Hey, listen, we changed our mantra to say what Women Who Jam is we want to let's just say take that word success, and we want to show individuals what success in the music business actually is and not what it looks like. Because there's a lot of things that look like they're successful, but these people are in pain because they're doing all this work. They're doing all this work and somebody else is making all the money or somebody else is getting the benefit. And so you know, I always tell each artist to define what success means to them. You have to define what success means to you. In my career, success meant to me, if I ever became a program director at a radio station, it was success for me. I won. But then after I did that, now it's the record industry. Okay, if I'm gonna be in the record industry, then I got to make my move. I have to put my fingerprint there. So success for me, I just wanted to be a national so I could be able to travel all over the country. That was success for me until I find out there's a bigger piece of this pie in New York, and it's called vice president. Oh, I just changed my success model. Now I want to be vice president. Right. So it's, again, like I said, it's like taking what people think is success in this business and showing them what it actually is and how you get there. There is no elevator to success. You can't wake up one morning and decide, oh, jump to the top, I'm going to be successful. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to take every step. As tedious as it may be and as tedious as it may sound, you have to do that. If you skip steps, you probably won't skip and fall.
Right.
So no elevator to success. You got to take each step. And what we want to do with NABFEM and Women Who Jam is take that success, your vision of success, and show you what it's actually like. And I think that we can help people. I think we can guide people. I think we can stop seeing a lot of these hiccups that we're seeing. You know, people are on the award shows, they're on TV, they're on the BET Awards, they're on all of this stuff.
Right.
And that you would think that they got the world in a handbasket. Yeah. But it's not like that. Right. It's really not. No.
Yeah. I understand it. And I'm so grateful. Like, I am a member of NABFEM.
yes.
One of the Women Who Jam.
Yes.
Like,
Women Who Jam, that's right.
Right. And so to wrap it up really quickly, okay. I wonder what's next for you, because you mentioned there's still more for you to do. Like, what would you say is the next thing for you?
Well, one of the things that I can't get away from is NABFEM. Okay. And that's a little bit difficult for me to answer, but not difficult, because whatever it is that I do next, it is going to involve NABFEM, because I don't feel like the work is complete there. I feel like we got a little side strap there. I don't want to take the COVID situation as an excuse, but it did impact us. It did impact us. And I don't feel, you know, sometimes when I'm saying my prayers, and I was talking to a girlfriend today, and I said, it's just not where it should be. Right. I mean, we should be stronger in the industry. We should be stronger in corporate America. Our fingerprint should be deeper. I don't think God put this in my lap for us to be where we are right now. And we've dealt with challenges, but I think that there's a lot more to do. There's a lot more to salvage, and a lot more that we can bring into the fold. And one of the things my girlfriend said, she said, Johnnie, what organizations started when you started NABFEM that are still here? I said, well, she said, a lot of them popped up, you know, when Black Lives Matter, Me Too, yeah, Time's Up, yeah. Okay, so a lot of them popped up. Some of them have faded. We've seen a lot of the issues that's happening with a lot of the organizations, and we haven't encountered any of that. So I kind of like to say God has insulated us. God has protected us, because when you consider what we did have, we probably need to have been washed away. But God said no. God said no. No, this organization is going to stay here. And he keeps telling me, and sometimes I ignore him, but he keeps telling me it's not in your time, it's my time. Yes, ma'am. So it's going to be what it's going to be when I'm ready for it to be that. And so we just continue. So what's next for me is is to expand the territory of NABFEM, to expand the vision of NABFEM. I'm so humble and grateful that God made a way for us to be in Africa. Yeah. Because you see how Afro beats is just coming into this country, and everybody. And so, hey man, we were already there. We had Afro beats when people were saying, well, what is that? What is that music? Right. So I know it's coming, but I just, wish he would speed it up a little bit. But that's wherever I am, NABFEM is going to be a part of it. Yes, whatever it is.
Well, I want to tell you, Miss Johnnie, I'm so grateful that God has allowed me to be able to be on this journey.
Yes.
With you, for our paths to meet, paths to be on this journey.
I still remember Sylvia's, you said the place you remember. See, I still remember Sylvia's restaurant in New York City. Yes. And we were doing a showcase there in the restaurant. Yeah. And you performed there. So see, I remember that was like, that is really like so pivotal for me, because the thing about us, we would take Women Who Jam and NABFEM, whoever opened the door and said we could come in, we came in. But it's like, okay, Sylvia's restaurant, here we come.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you so much, Miss Johnnie, for allowing me to do this interview with you, because you are, again, as I said earlier, an example of someone who has an unshakable journey. So I know that your story is going to impact so many other people when they watch this,
Well, before you go, I look at the sign that you have in the back over there in your background, and it really depicts my entire story. My father instilled hope in me every time he would talk to me, every time he was listening to those tapes. And I had to have faith. You always say, you got to believe, you got to believe. And I would always believe, try to believe. And sometimes when it's so turbulent, and it is very turbulent in the music business, that I can come back and sit down with God and have peace, because I know I'm doing the right thing. And I know that I haven't cheated on it. I haven't lied. I haven't done any of the things that you hear about in this industry. I haven't done them. So even though I'm not where I would like to be with the organization, I'm at peace.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you come on, go Google us. You won't find all that ugly stuff. We just, God kept us, he insulated us, kept us sanitized, man. And again, like I said, I wish it would, the territory was wider, and I wish that it was greater, but it's not on my time schedule.
But you know what? It's in God's hands.
Yes.
And anyone who wants to be a part of NAFEM, they just go to nafem.org, correct?
Real simple. nafem.org. You'll see membership right there on the top menu there. Just click that. We have quite a few options there. There's the annual option, which is $80. If that doesn't work for you, there's a monthly $10 a month option for the ballers out there. There's you can join for 2 years, and we give you a 3rd year for free. So you can do 2 years, 3 years, just whatever works. And at the end of the day, know that it's really bigger than your membership dues. You are supporting an organization that gives back to women in this industry. We have women, we don't have a lot of money, but when COVID hit, we knew that a lot of women were out of work. We knew that a lot of women were just in problems. And so we created a program called Love Unquarantined, that while the country was under quarantine, we weren't under quarantine. And we took the money we had, to send it to our sisters. We don't want your membership dues. We use that while we're going through this trauma of COVID-19, and let's just help sustain each other. So, you know, God has been good to us. We just gonna keep on keeping on.
Yes, we are. And you know, I want to make sure I add on to that too. Men can join it also. Men
can join too. We call the men the rocks. They are the solid foundation of which we lean upon. They are the foundation that, you know, we can learn a lot from our brothers. Every man out there is not chasing a skirt. I mean, I know it's natural, he can chase. Come on, we like to be chased, but there are brothers out there that understand. I mean, we got these brothers, the Atlanta Black Chambers brothers that support us and always here to uplift us and help us get into doors that we traditionally probably couldn't get into, or if we just out there waiting. When our brothers go and say, you need to take this meeting with them because they do this or they do that. So we're not for them. Robert, the former vice president of Kraft, just call people and say, oh, do you know NAFEM? Have you met Ms. Walker? I'm trying to get these meetings in camp. And our brothers just walk through. So it's just understand, ladies, there are some strong and powerful brothers out there. We have to support our men. We have to be there for our men. And in turn, they're going to be there for us. I mean, I've experienced it. I experience it daily, every day. When one of them will call and say, oh, I see you doing this event in Houston. I'm going to send you $500. I said, $500? What you send me $500 for? He said, because I know you're going to have them bills down. Something's coming up. Right. You know, that's a blessing. And that's God looking out for us, making sure that we're okay when we go to Houston, because, you know, we were trying to go to do a showcase. It is Women Who Jam. And yes, he was right. We are going to run into some things and we think we're prepared, but he's like, okay, and you need to call so-and-so. He should sponsor this. Oh, he said, well, listen, I'm going to call him and tell him you call him. It's like, okay. So it works. So men definitely just you the same process that women. Go to nafem.org, click membership, and whatever the option it is that works for you. And once you become a member as a male, we apply you to the Rocks group, and you'll find some pretty cool guys in that group. So yes. Well, thank you so much, Ms. Johnnie, for allowing me to interview you today. And thank you for your words of wisdom, for your guidance that I know is going to help anyone who listens to this, because you've helped me so much. Just me just listening to you today, I'm like, yes, God, thank you. And so thank you. We do it together. We are stronger together. Together. Yes, ma'am. And together. Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. We are. And thank you guys for watching this first show. I'm like, my words about to get tongue-tied.
Like, I'm trying to figure it out here exactly.
Right.
Listen, man, it is all good. There's a first, always like there's a first Sunday in every month, okay? It's
right.
It's just a whole bunch of firsts.
Exactly.
First time that at Def Jam, when I walked in, I'm from, at that time, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm from Memphis, and you're in New York trying to tell people what to do. I remember my daddy. I know my daddy told me to go in there. I was scared to death, man. But they never knew it.
Right.
They never knew it. I never presented it like that. Like I went in there like I was like in charge. I know what I'm talking about. Y'all gotta do it this way. Boom, boom, boom. And it was amazing how they was like, oh, okay. It just works.
Right.
Dad said the way that it is presented determines how it is accepted. Remember that, because it works. I'm telling you.
It determines how it's accepted. Y'all hear that? The way it is presented determines how it's accepted. Yes. Hold on to that, y'all. Thanks y'all for watching this episode of Unshakeable Journey. See you guys next time.